Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I am bringing you my 5 most intimidating books on my TBR. So for this little video I thought I would just pick 5. They're all chunky, they're all pretty huge, gotta be said. So I have picked 5 chunky books that I am intimidated to start reading. Now these are not all of my intimidating books. One of them that hasn't made it is right here. Oh, I'm about to miss it. A Court of Silver Flames, but I haven't even gone past like Akamath and Akawa. Is that the other one? I think so. So we're ignoring those ones, but these ones are also intimidating. Everything on this list is classed as adult, so adult fantasy, and there is an adult sci-fi on here as well. So I just thought I'd give you a rundown, and I hope to get to them at some point soon, but we'll see when that happens. So the first one, I've actually started reading 2 of these before and DNF'd both of them because I don't know if you know this, but recently I moved. Check out my moving vlog if you care at all. I'll link it up here for you. But yes, so I recently had to move, so I DNF'd quite a few books I was in the middle of because I didn't want to move books with bookmarks in them because it damages them. If you didn't know that, now you do. It seriously damages them. So the first one that I have started before but I DNF'd was A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. So I DNF'd this, like I said, because I moved. I got about 43% of the way through it and now I need to start it again. So in this book, I'm pretty sure most people know what Game of Thrones is, but in this book you're following like a variety of perspectives. You've got like Tyrion Lancaster, you've got Daenerys, you've got Arya Stark, you've got her sister, who I cannot remember her name, their mother, Ned Stark, you've Jon Snow. You've got so many perspectives. I myself have not watched the whole series. I have watched the final series, which is wrong, but I don't really know how they got to there. So, and also my other half has watched the whole of the Game of Thrones TV show and said that I'm not spoiled by watching the final series because it's nothing to do with the books really. So there's that. So this is the first one on this list. It's huge. It's over 700 pages long. I'm terrified, but one day I will get to it. So yes, I have every book in this series apart from the very last book, I think, because I'm pretty sure A Dance... yeah, so I have every book apart from A Dance with Dragons #2 After the Feast. I own all of the other ones, either in this version or like the smaller mass paperback. And if I like this series, I plan to buy a nice set of them, but we shall see. So, book number 1. Book number 2 is Malice by John Gwynne. Now, this is intimidating for me. 1, because it's an adult fantasy book. 2, it's over 600 pages, which doesn't sound like massively intimidating, but it is a tiny weeny bit, a little bit intimidating. And 3, it's because it's so beloved. A lot of people that I follow on Twitter, and I'm part of like a sci-fi fantasy book club kind of thing, a lot of them have read this series and loved it. I have got John Gwynne's newest book, The Shadow of the Gods, I believe that's the name, on pre-order, which I'm so excited for. It looks amazing. But yeah, so many people love this series. I love the look of this series. I love the sound of this series. I just haven't read it, so I don't know if I am actually going to adore it. And I'm a little bit terrified if I don't, but that's fine. He's written other books, but I'm sure I'm going to love it. It seems like up my alley. So, book number 2. Book number 3 is one that I actually didn't know about until recently and has not actually been on my shelves all that long because I won it in a giveaway from the author. So the author was doing a giveaway on Twitter saying the gates of hell are open, choose your fantasy weapon. And me being me said I would choose a miniature dragon who not only wields fire but miniature swords as well. And that won me a copy of The Legacy of Ash. Oh no, Legacy of Ash, there's no other, by Matthew Ward, and this is a chunky book. My goodness, it is huge, but it sounds amazing. It says on the back, fate turns, legacy burns, a phoenix shall blaze from the darkness. A shadow has fallen over the Tressian Republic. Ruling families, once protectors of justice and democracy, now plotting against one another with sharp words and sharper knives. Blinded by ambition, they remain heedless of the threat posed by the invading armies of the Hadari Empire. The Republic faces its darkest hour, yet as Tressia falls, heroes rise. And then at the bottom it says, Game of Thrones meets The Last Kingdom in Matthew Ward's Legacy of Ash, an unmissable epic fantasy debut of vicious intrigue, ancient magic, and the eternal clash of empires. It sounds amazing. It sounds so, so good. So, book number 3 is this chunker right here. And I am so excited to just try something new, you know? I haven't heard many people talk about this. It's not as like well known and loudly shouted about as pretty much every other book on this list for me. So, book number 3. It's coming for you, I think. Be prepared. Like, I don't know what I want to do about these books either, because they're quite chunky. I don't know whether I want to do kind of like a reading vlog kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Book number 4 is another well-known book by a lot of people, and that is the first of the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, The Final Empire. Now, everyone shouts and raves about these books. Everyone that I follow on BookTube, that I see on Book Twitter, that I see on Bookstagram. I mean, the covers are stunning on the UK editions. I love this. This is a really clean cover. But this, I'm pretty sure, all I know about this book is that it's basically what if the bad guy won. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And that you can get different powers if you ingest metals, I think. And then our like main character has like the ability to ingest all of the metals so they can have all of the powers. It's a terrible description. Like always, the links for all of these books will be down below. Check them out for better descriptions. But yeah, I'm just telling you what I know about these books, what I've heard, and that is what I've heard about this book. And I am excited to get to it. I'm a little bit terrified because the whole series is huge and all of his books are pretty chunky, but there you go. There's that. And then the 5th and final book on this TBR list thing of intimidating books for me. Again, it was one I've already started before. I have DNF'd it because I moved. And that is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. Now, this is a sci-fi, not a fantasy, but it's definitely adult. And in this book, we are following our main character. Issue with this case is that it's slippy. So in this book we are following the main character Kira, who is a xenobiologist, and she is on a mission, and they are literally at the very end of this long space mission checking that this new planet is safe for human life and to be colonized, when she is sent on like a routine mission to check out something that's a little bit odd further out from where their base camp is. So she travels out there, and unfortunately that is where everything goes wrong, and she comes into contact with an alien species, I guess. And when she wakes up, she is covered head to toe in this like suit made of alien organisms, and we follow her through this like whole mission to find a way to defeat what they call jellies, which is like an alien race, and they are attacking the humans. So Kira sets out to defeat them, and she meets loads of different people along the way. The characters that I've already met in this book are great. They're sassy. I love sassy characters. I just want to get back into this book. I'm gutted that I had to put it down, but I knew that if I didn't, then I'd forget, and I don't want to forget. I'll start it again. I will say though, the bit that I did read, it's not romance focused, which is good, because I'm not a massive fan of romance, if I'm honest, but the first like couple of chapters like I had to kind of push through, because at the start it's kind of how her life was before she goes on this like mission out from the base. So it's her at the base, and there is some lovey-dovey bits, and I was just like, come on, get on with the story. But other than that, what I read was amazing. So, you know, there's that. So those are all 5 of my most intimidating books on my TBR list. Like I said, there are other books that I find intimidating. I just didn't think they would make like the top 5. A couple of examples that are on that list are, like I said, A Court of Silver Flames, but also Akamath and Akawa, because they are quite chunky. I have got the third and final book from A Discovery of Witches, the Book of Life. That's over 600 pages. That's a little bit intimidating for me as well. Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron I'm intimidated by, not because they're chunky but because they're like a whole nother series, but I haven't actually gotten that far in the Cassandra Clare world as of yet. But I mean, also on that shelf that I don't own yet is the whole of the Dark Artifices trilogy, Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness, because those are chunky books and I don't know how I feel about it. There's the whole of the Eragon series that I am actually yet to finish, so the first 2 books aren't all that big, but Brising is quite chunky because I have the first 2 in paperback and then the last 2 in hardback. I have not read Inheritance. That's a chunky book. I want to go back and read all of them so badly, so you know, there's that. But yeah, like, I've got a lot of intimidating books, but the 5 that I've talked about today are probably the most intimidating, purely for the fact that they are not YA or new adult or like that kind of thing. There's a lot of world building, there's a lot of like politics and that sort of thing, and I do find that a bit intimidating. I am a bit of a simple soul, gotta be said, but I love a good fantasy and I love a good adult fantasy and I love sci-fi and adult sci-fi and all that fun stuff. Pretty much anything that's not contemporary or horror I'm a big fan of, I've got to be said. But yes, so those are my top 5 most intimidating books. If you did like this video, please give it a like, really supports me and my channel. Please let me know down below, what is an intimidating book for you? Have you got one? It doesn't have to be over 500 pages. It could literally be like the final book in a series that you've been loving. It could be the first book in a very long series because you know that once you start it, you're going to have to finish the whole series. So for me, that would be like the Game of Thrones books, because there's like 7 books in that series, same as Brandon Sanderson. Once you get started, there's so much of it. And also another really easy one is like this one, which is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. It's a short book, it's not that big, but once you start on this, you have to read the rest of the series, I guess. Like, it's just trilogy after trilogy and they all somehow link in. That's a little bit scary, and that's fine. If you don't feel like writing a comment, leave me a dragon emoji or a rocket ship emoji down in the comments, because, you know, dragons, fantasy, rocket ship, sci-fi. It works, doesn't it? And if you want to see more of me, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload new content. I currently upload on a Wednesday and on a Sunday, so be sure to come back then for the next video. But other than that, that is everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye!